Okay, I've been trying to share this news with you guys for 3 days, but either I'm like emotional and can't properly explain myself, or I'm getting distracted, or whatever. So, here it goes. It's actually really hard for people to accept their blessings, and it's hard for people to actually sit in gratitude when we've received a blessing. When we have an answer to prayer, it feels so overwhelming that we don't even know what to do with that emotion. I have been following what I believe has been God's plan for me for the last several years. I believe that I've been being prepared for a major transition in my life, that everything I once knew to be security, comfort, reality, truth was going to be completely shifted. I had no idea what that meant for me. I just knew that I had a internal desire, an internal voice leading me one step at a time by faith. I definitely do not consider myself highly religious. I don't go to church. I don't read the Bible. I don't do any of the ritualistic things that you would normally associate with being religious. I just have a personal relationship with Jesus. And I think that this is the part of my story that I have been waiting long enough to tell, which is that I did not seek a relationship with Jesus. He seeked it with me. I am a sinner, just like the rest of you. I am not perfect, but the Holy Spirit came to me in my darkest hours and gave me a promise and told me what to do, and I did not understand it. And my life has been pretty much nothing but destruction since then. But I kept going, steady in my faith, not because I wasn't scared, not because I wasn't doubtful, not because I didn't 100 times deny that it was real, but because this Holy Spirit kept persistently poking and persistently showing and persistently being present in my life to the point that I just could no longer deny what is happening. When my life fell apart before last year because of a medical emergency with my son, and I found out that I was going to have to leave the house that me and my children knew. I was going to have to sell the horses and close my business. I was going to have to get rid of 98% of my belongings and move into a 22-foot long camping trailer with me and my children and move to Southern Oregon. I had no idea what was going to happen. I have at least 5 generations of my family going back to records that I have. I'm sure it's deeper than that, but these are just the records I have of loggers, of woodsmen, of farmers, blue collar, American rooted, hardworking, with your hands individuals. I also have a very long history, generations deep, of proof that the women in my family are very nurturing, loving, caring, and so strong. We are survivors. The combination of the blood running through my veins plus the motivation that I get from the Holy Spirit has led me to my actual destiny in life just by having faith and walking blindly down that path. Multiple times in the last 3, 4, 5 years, I have felt so agonizingly alone. And every single time, the Holy Spirit has come to me and revealed to me that I am not alone, that He is here with me. So last year, while I was camping in my trailer, moving from spot to spot every 2 weeks for a couple months, my cousin stayed with me, and he's been a logger pretty much his whole life. And he started telling me about these fire watch positions that you can get, where you can just sit your trailer in the mountains somewhere and watch for fires and get paid to do that. He's like, cousin, you'd be really good at this. You should try to get a job like that. It'd be great if we just listened the first time the Holy Spirit presented the sign of what our path is, but we don't. So we're resistant. We're children, so we don't listen. But the thought has been in the back of my mind. I did try to ignore that path, and I was afraid of what it might mean for my custody appeal. I was afraid of what it might mean for my future, for my finances, for physical safety, right? Like pulling the trailer and living in the trailer for longer and that kind of stuff. These things don't come without fear. Everything we do in life is gonna, that's like a betterment, is gonna come with some sort of fear and anxiety. As I moved here to Southern Oregon, I started applying for and looking for camping jobs in like campgrounds, RV parks, stuff where I could actually make money from my trailer. I have a lot of elements to my illnesses that cause me to not be able to really work traditional jobs and be reliable. So working from home has been my primary way of survival for at least the last 15 years. I will get into maybe a little bit more about the stories that have happened to me since I moved to Southern Oregon, but let's just say that every opportunity that I have had to work has been completely blocked. In fact, one of them ended up being horrific, and I'm not talking about that one yet. I'm also gonna get into a little bit more about the drama and the chaos that's happened here. Kind of like what it's like living in an RV park, besides the tranquility, besides the fact that like I live on the river and it's peaceful because I have my own little space and we have, all the facilities. Like, that's all great. But you're still kind of living in a community with a bunch of other people, and you're kind of still butting up against each other's spaces because a lot of times there's not clear boundaries, and it can be confusing. Let's get into the exciting news that I got this week. A couple weeks ago, I applied for a fire equipment safety watch position for a logging company. The lady called me from the hiring agency that they use, and she went over the basics with me, and she said, okay, it sounds like everything is great. I'm going to send this on to the crew leader, who's the one that makes the final decisions in the hiring. He called me on my birthday, and I ignored the call because I was spending that day with my daughter and my family, and that's important to me that I had that extra time with her. So I sent him a text at the end of the day saying, I'm so sorry, it's my birthday, I couldn't step away from the family, please give me a call anytime tomorrow. So the next day, I agonizingly wait all day until the end of the day. He calls me close to 5 o'clock. He goes over a few details, he asks a few confirming questions, he started saying that maybe he wants to meet me in person. He was a little concerned about me being lonely in the position because it's out in a mountain, but then once he found out that my family would be with me, my kids, he was like, oh, okay, you'll be fine. I said, okay, well, do you still need me to come up and meet you in person? He goes, nope, I have a really good feeling about you. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a try. He tells me which area I'm going to, and that he wants me to give him a call next week on Wednesday for the location, and that they're gonna get the spot prepared for me. He said, my crew won't be up there yet, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and make sure that you've got your spot and everything you need. So I got hired. I got the job. It's 5 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a split shift, 2 hours in the morning before the work crew starts and 3 hours in the afternoon. And he said, if there's ever a reason that you need some time off, if you want to go travel for a month or go see your family, that's no problem. Just let us know and we'll accommodate that. I literally rejoiced in gratitude and happiness. It immediately felt so perfectly right. The next day, I start looking in the area for Facebook groups and stuff to join. I'm actually probably moving next week there, so I'm trying to get acclimated with the environment, community, stuff like that. And happened to come across a post that took me to a YouTube video of my boss and the crew on the mountain that I'll be working on. I couldn't even believe it. And in the video, one of the things that they said about this crew was that to them, family comes first. So at this point, everything's feeling wonderful. I've gotten to see visuals on some of the men that are on this logging crew that will be on the mountain, working while I'm there. I will be moving with that crew, with my trailer. Every time they move, I'll move. I'm thinking, like, okay, we're gonna need to be moving every month or so to a new logging location. So it's gonna kind of be back to the way it was last summer. I had to move every 2 weeks, and that was rough because it would have been nice to have that time in between to really settle in, you know? But the moving part wasn't the worst. It was that I have like too much stuff. So I start kind of brainstorming and looking for the stuff I didn't get last year, like the rack for the roof of my car because I can strap bins up there, the rack for the back of my camper trailer because I can put bins there. Trying to kind of find a way to make this easy as possible for me to be moving from location to location with them, you know, without too much strain. So I empty storage this week, bring all the stuff here. I start going through stuff, and in one of the bins I open up, there's the Bibles, and just a collection of random Bibles. Some of them Jonas brought, some of them came from my brother or my dad, some of them I really have no idea, but by this point I've ended up with several Bibles. So I, for some reason, pick up this specific Bible. Has only one page bookmarked. So I open the Bible, it flips immediately to that page. I unfold the fold, and it's John 14. It says, I go to prepare a place for you. Almost exactly the way that my crew leader said, I will have this place prepared for you. If you continue reading that verse, which you should, it goes on to talk about why the Holy Spirit is real, why we're guided by the Holy Spirit, and it talks about that we are not to be afraid. We're commanded by God to not be afraid, to follow Jesus, to listen to the Holy Spirit instead of our fear. It goes on to say that those that love Jesus, those that follow the Holy Spirit, those that trust in God, which the Trinity is all one. It's one God. Jesus is the human form. God is the superpower form. And Holy Spirit is the Spirit. It's in us. It is of us. We are of it. It goes on to talk about this in John 14. Remember, I said I don't read the Bible. This is how I read the Bible. This is it. This is how I read the Bible. The Bible to me is a confirmation. It's an afterthought. It's the way that I know, am I being led by the Holy Spirit or by the devil? It's how I know that it's real, because the Bible is first spoken to me in my spirit, and then I confirm that it's in the written text. And I wasn't even seeking to confirm that. It just appeared in my reality. If Spirit has come to you in any form and said, follow me, I will move mountains for you. I will go and prepare a place for you. All you have to do is get rid of your fear. Listen. Don't block your blessings. It's real. God is real. The Holy Spirit is with all of us. We're just not listening. So, yeah, I got the job. We're moving next week to some random spot in the mountains in Douglas County. I have all of my needs at the trailer still. This position is with Lone Rock Logging Company. It's one of the largest logging companies in the Pacific Northwest. This is going to be the entry to probably my career with them. I mean, I'm having so many visions for my future after this decision. So, next chapter, you guys get to watch me move back to the mountains and live there while being paid to make sure everything stays safe. When you're on your path with God, when you're on your true Spirit's path, it should be easy. God says, I will prepare a place for you. He is not just talking about heaven. He is talking about right here on earth. He prepares that place for us here